ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the GameDev.tv Community Podcast. My name's KB, and I'm here with Ricardo, Bryant, and our special guest. You just released the game on Steam, right? It's about 3 weeks ago. The game's called Warlocks II God Slayers. We're going to be discussing all about it. So, you said it came out 3 weeks ago. How was that? Was it a good release?
Actually, I think it's a good release because it's finally released. Yes, it's on. You can buy it there, and I think that's what we were expecting. The sale is what we have expected, but of course, a lot of work is still needs to be done to make it better. Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, nice. And then, how long were you guys working on it?
The development process was like 2 years. Of about 5 to 7 people in peak, yes. So yeah, it was hard work of all of the team to make it released, yeah, make it developed.
That's awesome. Okay. What were you working on with the game? Is it everything, or is it just programming, art, like?
Yeah, my part was the audio part. So I was developing all the stuff that is related to audio. So from making the sound effects to composing the music and actually implement it to the game via middleware. So that was my part, and everything you can hear in game, it's my work, basically, just basically. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I saw a little trailer about it, and I was like, wow, it looks really good.
Thanks.
Yeah. What was the hardest part in releasing the game?
Actually, we chose the way that we will do it with the how to say with the publisher. Yeah, that's the word. So. From our part of releasing, we were consulting with them. But if you want to take over this case, we need to. For me, there were some parts that every developer, every team should do when you're releasing the game. So. First of all, you need to know when, yes, because it needs to be planned, because you don't want to make your development infinity. Yes, so you are working and working. You will fix the bugs, everything. You want to be polished, but at the end you have the game that always have some bugs or some things that you can repair. So you need to know when you want to release the game. You need to set the date and try to achieve that date. And for me, it's even better if you know this about, I don't know, let's say half a year in advance, because you want to make people to know about your game. Yes, so you need a little bit of marketing, a little bit of spreading the word about your game, and I think that's crucial to have sales. Yes, because if we say we done it in professional way, we want to make money with it. So we need to think a little bit of a game as a product. So that's why you need to know how to sell your game. Yeah. So basically, you need to figure out the way that you will talk about the game, that you will try to sell it. What's the unique points of your game, and try to convince the people that they want to try it out. Yeah. So basically, you need to figure out the way, and then try to spread the word and build the community. Stuff related, and then you can actually think of releasing. Yes. So that's the way we chose, but of course there are other ways to make it. Yeah. For example, in Steam or in every platform, digital platform, you have some kind of early access fee. Yes, so maybe that's the way to release your game, because you know that it has some flaws, but you maybe don't have any more money for development. Yes, and you need to raise some funds. So maybe if it's playable and it's, you know, it's not a shame to to put it somewhere to to the community. Maybe you can actually make it early access and then raising some funds to have it polished like you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes a little into what we were discussing yesterday in our development meeting about creating merge requests as work in progress. It's nice to get some feedback while you're working. So sometimes, depending on how the project is going, it's nice to put it out there to get feedback, even if it's not fully functional. And now with early access features, you don't have to just release a small demo on your website and hope people download it. You show it on Steam, and Steam also gives you metrics and stuff, so you can actually analyze, and it also gives you a channel directly to your players.
But there are also some kind of minuses for that, because Steam is actually flooded with all the games. Yes, because there are statistics that in the last 2 years, I will say about 75% of games was released. Yes, because of direct access that Steam gives you. If you have, you know, Unity on Unreal Engine, you can make something in there, in that engine, and put it on Steam and see it there. Yeah, because you can pay for direct access to them. But yes, I think that feedback is a key to make the product polished, and the earlier the better. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes back to the concept of MVP. You should ideally know what your MVP is, especially if you want to release it for early access. Otherwise, you're going to release a bunch of random levels that don't connect, or
Of course.
try to work too much before releasing, and then you're just releasing a full product.
Yeah,
I agree.
Sorry. Actually, we have something like MVP after 6 months of development, and actually there were Pixel Heaven. It's think like Gamescom in Polish, small one, and they have some kind of competition, and we won that. We won the indie game award from few games that was developed even longer and by bigger teams, and it was actually pretty good sign for that to make it continue development of this game. Yeah. So basically, if you know how your game should in final stage, how it should look like, it's a great idea to make some kind of vertical slice. So you have maybe not all the mechanics developed, but you have signs that it should be here or something. So if you can make it, make your player imagine that somewhere will be there, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, for some of the students out there, how would you get your idea and then start making something happen? Because I know people get stuck. They're like, I have an idea, but I don't know how to get that there to a launch product.
Yeah. So My road was that I want to, I'm always was interested in music, so musical stuff. So I want to um, actually, first of all, I want to form a band, be a rock star and stuff like that. Yeah. So actually, I thought, and my parents told me, oh, you would you would never achieve that. Okay.
Get a real job, right?
Yeah, get a real job. But later, I was studying some kind of music-related studies. And then I actually thought about, wait a second, there are some music and some sound effects in games, yes. So I actually did some research, how it's done, how the biggest companies in industry is doing stuff related to audio, yeah, in my case. So actually, I read about Fmod and read about Wise. So they are middlewares, industry standard middlewares that actually create some kind of digital audio workstation for games. And they are connected via events to the actual engine. Yeah. So I thought, wow, that's cool. I can handle this. Yes. So the next thing, I was trying to make some projects in that, trying to connect Unity or engine, every engine, and that's how it started somehow. And then in Warsaw there is a course called Game Dev School, and I actually thought it was a good idea to get there to try to make games, actual games. So there I met people which are with whom I was developing some kind of games, and that's how things get started. We've got some portfolio, yes, we've got some games, and then we can hit the industry and try to look for a job or stuff like that. Yeah. So basically, that's my way to achieve that. Yes.
Nice. Was the game built using a specific engine?
Yes, it was. The Warlocks were made in Unity, and the audio stuff was made in Fmod middleware. Yeah, was connected to the game. Yeah, via.
What was the experience like building it in Unity?
My experience building in Unity, I actually didn't make a game in Unity before. We've got the team that was experienced in building that stuff. So I was only responsible for audio things. Yes, because it's even better. Yeah, I've done my job. That I'm a professional. Yes, so I've done my thing. My things make it done, and my colleagues that are programmers that are using the engine about 10 years, yes, and they've made their job done. Yeah, so we have divided tasks for our team. Yeah.
How has the game changed from the original plan, or is it the same?
It's impossible to make a game that you were supposed to you thought about that they were 2 years of development. It's changed actually everything. Yeah. So maybe basic concepts of the game that, because I was supposed to say it on the first, because our game is hack and slash with some kind of modern RPG mechanics, but it's put it, the mechanics are put it in pixel platforming, I would say. Yes, so it's in retro style, and we actually want to make it cooperative. So for us, the goal was that we will create fun co hack and slash that you can, invite your friends, grab some beers and play in cooperative style. So that was the goal. But it's supposed to be a fun game to play in cooperative mode, and I think we've managed to do that. But things that ideas how to make it better, some new features. Maybe we can expand some things, some mechanics. Of course, there are a lot of ideas, but if you want to release the game, you need to cut it out a little bit and make a realistic plan what you can achieve. That I said at the beginning, to make it released in that day. Yes, you've planned. So you need to know when you can add something, and you need to know when you should start development of that particular feature, because it will be hard to deliver. Yeah, and maybe it's not necessary to your game actually. So you need to rethink, redesign things. It's iteration by iteration. So you need to think about it constantly.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea while developing, especially if you're cutting stuff, to keep a backlog of things to do later. Ben always says in his courses, things I'm gonna do, and things that aren't gonna be done now, and things I'm not gonna do ever. Right? We should have those two.
We've got, of course, we've got some Trello board. I think when we've got all the stuff that we want to make, feature ideas, of course, to do later. It means never. so yeah. I think that organizing work is a part of make it released in a particular date. Yeah.
If you had to release this game all over again?
It also depends on the case. I don't know. I can point out some flaws in our release, but I don't think it can be applicable for your exact case. Yes, because every case is different. You've got funds, or you've got no funds for hire people, or you are in this alone, and the cases are different. And actually, you need to think about the ways that you want to achieve the goal that is releasing the game. Yes, so maybe during planning you need to make the scope that you are sure that your game needs to have, and maybe some MVP, yes, MVP stuff. So then, if you can make an MVP with all the resources you've had, even if it's money, it's people, yeah, it's time. So when you have this MVP, maybe if you want to make it further, yes, develop content of the game. So you need some resources, additional resources to do that. So ways are, can be various ways to achieve resources. Some when you have money, you will have people who will join you and try to make the product, the final product. So there are things like Kickstarter, yes, when you can gather the community to actually help you to gather some money for development. There are early access things I've said before, and maybe if you maybe, and then you need to if you have this info, all the information about, you can actually change the scope of the game to actually to make it release. I don't know if it's clear for you, but I think about iterations, constant thinking about that you somehow need to achieve the release. Yeah. So it depends on current situation. I don't know if it's a golden rule that you need to if there is a golden rule that will say do that and it will be great. I don't think it's a thing for me. So every case is a little bit different. The important thing that you need to think about that you need to somehow reach the point that you said, okay, the game is released, and I accept the flaws maybe that this game have, but actually I can start make some money with that. Yeah.
And also, once you start selling and people start giving you money for something, you feel a lot better. So you actually want to maybe go back and fix some bugs or improve, make a new game mode.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So if someone wanted to get into the audio side and sound, what would be your recommendations on how to get started?
Yeah, you need to love that because it's a hard work. Yeah, but actually I like the all game dev stuff related because the industry is pretty hard, I would say, because as I said, there are a lot of games, but on the audio side, you said so. I think that if you are interested in music, yeah, you need to create some stuff. And as in other, I would say specifics in when you are a programmer, you need to repeat the code over and over again to make it better. Even the sound is in the same way. So if you want to make your work into the game dev, you need to know how to. For me, it's crucial information how to, make the audio stuff you've created, put it into the game. So that was the thing that I'm creating audio. They are creating some kind of games. How we supposed to work together? Yeah. So we need to know. And actually, as I said before, there are some programs, software on the net. I would recommend starting with Fmod because if you gather some people, they have some kind of indie license that you can create. Once a year, you can release a game with the Fmod engine, and you don't need to pay for that. So I think that learning the Fmod and how it's it's supposed to connect with the game is crucial, because if you know these things, you can actually start creating assets that will because engine have some very different possibilities. Yes, so we can make interactive music. So that's the really cool thing that everyone want to have it in the game, because it actually can change the music while you're playing the game. It's awesome. Yes, it's an awesome feature, but you need to know how to implement this. You need to know how to make it in Fmod and how to make it in your engine. So there are a lot of things that you are supposed to know to make it happen. So for me, my recommendation, if someone is making some kind of music, maybe some kind of sound design. If they want to make it to the game, they need to know how the things are working for audio, how the events works, how maybe audio engine in Unity. It's only a choice, but they need to know how to make it work in that particular engine, how to implement the sound. This knowledge is, for me, it's crucial to know that. Maybe some other guy will, implement, and you will do only the assets. But if you know how it's made, it's more, comfortable situation when you are talking with him and you know how to communicate, and you know what needs to be done to make it implemented the game. So for me, that's the case that you need to know this knowledge.
How do you decide on choosing your team members?
It was a coincidence. I would say I've met some people on my road that were experienced in Unity and in making games in that engine, and I said, I've made a little bit of music. I like it. I can handle the sound design thing because I was actually, more in music involved in composition and stuff like that. But I think I will handle, the sound design part of our work. Maybe we can cooperate somehow. And they said, okay. So what we are gonna do, yeah? And before this particular talk, I was because this is the second part of Warlocks. There were game Warlocks versus Shadows, and I really enjoyed that game. So I said maybe we should do a sequel, and they say no, sure, why not? And actually we've had an investor gather some money for that project, and we made it happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that was an awesome interview, guys. I really enjoyed meeting you, Jakub. Is there anywhere we can go to find the game? Any website? Any personal social media sites you want to put up?
Yeah, there are Facebook page of our game, and also the game is on Steam right now and GOG.com. So you can search it there. Maybe we can provide the links in the descriptions or somehow.
Yeah, I'll add in the show notes.
And also game is released on Nintendo Switch, so it's available there as well.
And then you want to leave them with anything that, as they inspire to be like, do you have anything for them, little nuggets?
Maybe it's not inspiring as much because it's a really hard work to make the game, the release of the game. But you need to know that every single developer, every game has a hard story behind. Mm-hmm. Every game. Yeah. So if you are doing this, you will have hard choices to make. You will have hard times to make it something work. But we've all been there and done that. So even if you have hard times, you need to think about it, that it will pass somehow. It will pass, but and keep the things real. Yeah. So keep the things done. It's not easy. We know that. You are supposed to know that as well. It's sometimes with blood, sweat, and tears, but at the end, you will have someday you will have your game released, and you need to know about it as well. So I think that's the word for me to inspire.
Hey, that was beautiful. That was good. Nice.
to make your hard work done.